An RA stands for resident assistant. Depending on what dorm you're in, it's kind of different on what you need to do, but you're kind of a mom, sometimes a counselor. You need to know about stuff on campus and kind of need to be there for especially the freshman residents who are acclimating from high school to college. There's a lot of things that come in with that position.
Part of their job is to support residents that are having problems. So somebody doesn't feel they fit in, somebody's struggling academically, somebody hasn't found their niche, somebody's homesick, you name it. I mean, problems exist in community and we need people to be there to support, to solve, and that's an RA's job.
A lot of listening and just being available and offering resources and just, again, more listening.
I think the most rewarding part is getting to know the other RAs. It's kind of interesting. It's not like an exclusive club, but you get to know people on a deeper level that you otherwise wouldn't know people on. So it's just kind of a cool experience because you instantly have 20 new friends.
I think it's really cool when an RA has that moment of sort of, I don't do this well, or this student doesn't like me, or whatever the case may be, and then lo and behold, surprise, things turn out amazingly well, or the resident confides in them something that they didn't think that the student would share with them, and they really have this moment where they can step back and say, wow, I guess I have a bigger impact than I thought, or I guess, I can do this in a way that I didn't think was possible, and that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
When they have one sort of perspective and then something happens and it just opens up their eyes to this new world and sort of their abilities and their connections with other people. It's really cool to be able to watch that.
Well, I think one of the most difficult things about being an RA would be just whenever you're on campus academically in a class, even if it's like your major class, you have to be constantly aware of what you're doing because you are representing the college, and I guess I didn't realize how much you are until people start asking you what you do, and it's just like you constantly have to watch yourself, and sometimes it's exhausting constantly being on campus then, so like you need to get away, get off.
One of the hardest parts about my job would be dealing with all the behind-the-scenes stuff that people don't often see. People tend to think our job is kind of easy and we're just there to put up door decks and put up bulletin boards. It's a lot more complicated than that, and especially when you're up until 2 a.m. dealing with when you're up until 2 a.m. dealing with an incident, and maybe you have 8 a.m. class, and then you're tired and cranky the rest of the day. People don't think about things like that in terms of what your responsibilities are. But if you're up until late hours in the night, if you're on duty and you're dealing with an incident or trying to counsel a resident or something like that, it can be really stressful, and that weighs on your mind throughout the next day and even a week. And the other thing about it is the confidentiality issue. You can't talk. There's very few people on campus that you can actually talk about things with, especially things that happen to your residents maybe, or things that happen just during the course of your duties. You can't. There's few people that you can talk about it with.
The job has also forced me. It's also forced open new social circles that I wouldn't have had before, with planning committees, making programs. You have a lot more adult friends, should I say, more professional friends, more younger friends as well, which is awesome English. And then also it kind of pushed me away from my normal social circle old one, kind of the default that we all have, oh, I'm just gonna hang out with this group of friends because that's what I do. So it just makes you go out of your, I guess, comfort zone, but social circle comfort zone, if that makes any sense.